Hey folks, it's Nate. It's time I got back to the drawing board. It's here. It has swag. It's huge. Look at this thing. This is like a good, what, full 8.5 by 11? Probably bigger than that. I don't know. This book is amazing. Production qualities are great. This, of course, is Doug Tenaple's Bigfoot Bill, Shadow of the Mothman. First in a set. This book is so heavy I could probably club someone over the head with it if they broke into my house and tried to steal it for its extreme quality. I cannot say enough good things about the general quality of this book. It's got glossy paper. It's got a great binding. Print quality is high. It's big, so you can really appreciate that art. So, great quality book. It arrived in really good condition. I don't know. I think it got dropped. There's a little damage on this corner there. You can see that. But, that's the Postal Service. What you're going to do. So otherwise, everything arrived in great shape. So I've read it. Obviously, I haven't had a few days to digest it. I've only read it once, which is not the way I usually handle reviews. But this book is really good. I don't know if it's going to quite hit the level of classic. I think Bigfoot Bill could do that with further installments, but this is good. Definitely worth the $25 I paid for it. I could probably turn around and sell it on eBay tomorrow for $40 and no one would bat an eye, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not dumb. So, what do I think of the book in general, aside from production quality? Well, it's got a lot of story. I don't know if you can see that, but that right there, that's page 96. All 96 pages of this are story. There's no extras. There are extras. They're not in this book. There are, I suppose the page numbering does start here. So there's the dedication and the acknowledgement of backers and stuff like that. That's 4 pages. So 92 pages of actual story. And it does not beat around the bush. It sets up. And by the 3rd page of actual story, we're off and running with our main character. Now, that's a lot of story for the price point. It's all in color, so I think you get a good deal, and the story is very good. I do have a few problems with it. Most of them stem from the fact that the story just moves really fast. Even though there are 92 pages here, there is very little downtime. There's very little time for a breather. And that's great for adventure stories. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like the story doesn't give you as much time to get to know the characters as it might, particularly Agents Beckner and Sharon, who you can see on this page here. Agent Beckner is the guy. He has the hots for Agent Sharon. That's an interesting kind of a sub-theme running through the book. Beckner's kind of clueless, so he asks the Bigfoot for help with, human relationships. That's funny. It's treated mostly as a gag for a good-sized chunk of the story. And there's a resolution at the end there that, it's not really a resolution, but I don't know as all the beats there are entirely earned. I would like to see this unpacked a little bit more, but that's a very, very tiny nitpick. So the cast of characters is pretty colorful. Of course, there's Bill himself. There's these 2 agents. There's a general. Let me see if I can find him. Here's another good picture of the cast of characters. Bill has a bunch of cryptids he hangs with. There's a unicorn, a chupacabra, and this is the Loch Ness Monster who can apparently grow and shrink. The Fresno Nightcrawler is not part of Bill's crew. He's just sort of on this page, but there it is. I like the fact that the cryptids play Shadowrun. That's funny. The idea that these monsters play tabletop role-playing games where they kill other monsters. Kind of tickles my fancy. So there's a lot of good humor like that. It's a very fun and funny book. The villain in this book is the Mothman. He's got a connection to shadow. He consumes light. According to the trading cards here, let's see. Special abilities. In the presence of terror, he can predict calamity, create fear, absorb fear, hypnotize, cause waking terrors, and he can combine electric, light, and fear into an increase of body mass, and that gives him a blinding heat vision. So you see all of those powers in play. There's no real explanation of them in the story itself, which is nice, but they're pretty straightforward. And the secondary villain in here is Poseidon, who is kind of a scheming figure. Let's see. And he's very scary. Like here's a picture where he shapeshifts. He eats a poor guy. So Poseidon is another villain. He's ironically very scary, especially when compared to the Mothman, who by and large comes off as a bit silly. So his character is good. His character is strong. I think, the story is trying to have an initial villain for Bill to fight, as the rest of the elements of the story are set up. There's nothing wrong with that, but as a villain, I found the Mothman a little bit underwhelming, although it's clearly established that he's fairly dangerous. He just lacked a certain presence, which Poseidon definitely has. And, it's hard to have two villains with that really, really strong screen presence at the same time. Even in Star Wars, where you had Darth Vader and the Emperor there at the same time, one or the other was always the strong presence. The other one kind of receded into the background. So in this story, Poseidon is just really strong, and the Mothman is kind of silly. And that lets them balance, but it doesn't make the Mothman as compelling as he could be, I think. Of course, you can see the art. The art is wonderful. The composition is wonderful. It comes in a very large form, so you can see it very clearly. So no complaints whatsoever about the art. I'm not even going to try and offer some kind of constructive criticism of that, because I'm afraid, just based on my first read through, I have nothing to say there. So that's Bigfoot Bill. That's what I thought of it. It's a great book. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to have much of a chance to pick it up until the next Kickstarter, when I understand there will be extra copies available for probably a limited number of backers. If you don't have this book, definitely look out for that, because it's worth the money. And keep an eye out, of course, for Bigfoot Bill Part 2 coming from Doug Tenaple. Like I said, it's well worth the investment. And I really enjoyed this, and I'm definitely going to pick up Volume 2. That's all I got for tonight. Hope you enjoyed that. There's a like button and subscribe button down below. Use them as you see fit, and I'll talk to you later.